Alright guys, so this is the mount if you have a four-wheel drive truck that you're going to have to completely remove to be able to get the motor out. And that is because if you come down here and you'll see it bolts in to the transmission back there. Right here it bolts into the front diff. Now you can take those bolts out, but we just found it way easier to get clearance for it to get the motor out, and also to get the lower transmission cover out. There's a stud right here, and that's where one of the nuts goes on for the starter, and you can't get that cover out so that your flex plate can come out of the transmission without completely removing this. And you can do it while the motor is just basically hanging in there. You unbolt back here, unbolt from the diff, unbolt from your motor mount, and then unbolt it from the side of the block on these 4 bolts. They're 14 millimeters, kind of difficult to get to, but it can be done. I'd say get the 2 back ones from underneath the truck, get these 2 front ones from up here in the engine bay, and then once you do that, you can get your hoist on there, and you can jack the whole motor and the transmission up enough that you can wiggle this mount out, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but you can get it out of there. That way you can get your cover off, and everything will just slide out. And then you can get to your torque converter bolts and all that fun stuff. So yeah, the only other thing we had an issue with was the dowel pins. This one over here popped right out, just giving it a little tug with the pry bar. This one, we had to use an air chisel from this side and basically run it in to the transmission a little bit, which I'll basically just end up running it all the way through here in a minute for the new motor, because you know the new dowel pins will be in the new one. But that was able to run it in there and just break it free basically, so we weren't just prying like crazy and damage the bell housing or something stupid like that. So that's an idea. If you don't have an air chisel, you could get a regular chisel and a hammer in there, really tight spot. It'd probably take a while. Air chisel took it out in like 5 seconds, but yeah, that's where we're at for now.
Alright, so this is the old motor. We're going to be pulling all the sensors off of it and be putting it on the motor that's over there. So we're going to start just prepping the 2 motors. We're going to check the pulleys for any play or anything like that, and swap those or buy new if we need to. So yeah, now it's just a matter of getting this all prepped up, removing the old harness that's on this one, and yeah, just going at it. We got some new parts sitting right here to go on. We still have a few more to buy. It's just going. Have anything to add?
Yeah, right over here. This looks to be like the engine temperature, engine cooling temperature sensor, whatever. Basically on the old one, I ended up breaking it because it's such a pain to get off. There's 2 little tabs you got to push in here, and then on the back side makes it really hard to get to. Might take this off, give me a little more room, but just be very careful with it. This is an angled pick. Should make it a lot easier to get in there and then get in on the back side. We had a spare, so it wasn't a big deal, but just be careful with that.
Okay, here are some of the parts that we're going to be putting in. The spark plugs that were in the used motor were looking pretty good, so we didn't see any major fouling, but we're going to go ahead and replace them with the Bosch Platinum. Since we had to open up the AC, we have a new filter. This is the accumulator / dryer. We're going to go with the STP oil filter. These are the spark plugs that were in the motor, and you can see some fouling, and they're just in really pretty poor shape. So it was definitely burning some coolant, oil, and everything else. So oh, and then this is O-ring kit for the AC system. So, yep, moving along and having a lot of fun.